Perry and Brian Perry here, and we're gonna bring you another topic of Inside Real Estate.
Inside real estate.
And today we're talking about
I have no idea. What are we talking about?
what? So when it comes to pricing a home,
Oh, yeah.
what is price per square foot a good way to measure that? If I'm looking to see what values are around my community, my neighborhood. Just let's talk about pricing.
Let's talk about price,
Mm-hmm.
baby. Okay, so price per square foot. So I'm probably going to tick some people off because a lot of people really look at price per square foot. And if you want to debate me on it, I'm fine with that. Call me because I love to chat about it. But basically, price per square foot, when it comes to like a single family house, is not a really accurate way to measure the value of that piece of real estate. Because number one is the purpose of price per square foot. There's only one real purpose for even mentioning it, and that is to compare that property to other properties of different sizes. Because if you're comparing it to properties of the same square footage, then the price per square foot is irrelevant because it's apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a challenge there. Well, there's a couple of challenges, but primarily the price per square foot, only when anybody ever mentions that, they're only talking about the interior square footage of the house. And so that doesn't take anything into account with reference to the lot, the location within the community, the size of the lot, the shape of the lot, the desirability of the lot, what your view is, if you're on a lake, if you have other views. It doesn't take into consideration a pool. These are massive value factors, massive. And so that's where price per square foot becomes extremely inaccurate. And what you're going to find ultimately is properties that are different square footages sell for different prices per square foot. Smaller homes tend to smell.
Hopefully not our listing.
Not usually. Smaller homes tend to sell for a higher price per square foot because ultimately the land is a huge factor there. And assuming that two houses have the same size lots, but the actual house themselves are different sizes, the lot and the land is where a significant quantity of that value is. And theoretically, if you have two houses side by side and the lots are identical, then the land value is theoretically identical. So that equation doesn't change. The only equation that changes is the actual value of the house that's on that land, which, by the way, don't forget, depreciates. The house actually goes down in value, technically speaking, and the land is what, in theory, we hope will appreciate, right? And so when you measure those two price per square foot, you don't take the lot into consideration at all, it becomes very skewed, very inaccurate, extremely inaccurate. And we can get into that. I can show you houses in the same community that the lots are identical and the houses are very similar, just different sizes. And if you use the price per square foot method, the numbers you would see would just be insane. They just wouldn't make any sense. Now, where price per square foot comes into play, maybe a little bit more, condominiums to some degree or another, because if you have a building with a bunch of condos and they're all essentially the same, then that might be a little more apples to apples, but it doesn't really matter because they're usually about the same square footage. Doesn't really factor. Primarily, it comes from the commercial world where you have space that's really...
there's no additional features outside of the building that would
right.
bring value.
It's a commodity. The space
right.
is a commodity. It's the same. If you have this unit or that unit, it's the same, and it just matters how much square footage you have, and they bill you per square foot. And of course, there's other factors like the commercial stuff that's not really relevant to this conversation. So that's the bottom line.
So let's just put a light of example. So let's say we have a 2,000 square foot home here and a 2,004 square home here, and let's assume it's in the same neighborhood, so we don't have all the other extra factors about desirability of that specific community and things like that. So if you do simply price per square foot, then it should be identical because it's the exact same house, right? But this lot could have a beautiful lake view with like a preserve in the back and just like a super deep, distance, extra privacy and all that. And over here, maybe it's on the corner of the community, backing up to a wall with maybe the view of a cell tower. So obviously common sense would tell us, well, it's not going to be worth the same because this one has a much better lot and view, etc. But the house is the same, so price per square foot would never be the same as a buyer, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's price per square foot. If you're comparing properties that are the same square footage, there's like no value in looking at that. It's just it's essentially a useless measurement. And now you're taking into consideration the location of the property, the size of the lot, the shape of the lot, the value, the house itself, the amenities the house itself has inside. If it's been updated, those things affect value, sometimes dramatically. And price per square foot doesn't take that into consideration either. Anyway, I guess this is a video telling you why price per square foot is very bad, and don't do it. Don't pay attention to it that much. And a lot of people disagree with me. I understand that. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie. Bye-bye.